Harar Mahadev. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that the mind can become both a person's friend and their enemy, depending on whether it's trained and guided. Krishna also repeatedly emphasizes bringing the wandering mind back through practice and disciplined self control. The teaching is not to destroy thoughts, but to stop being controlled by them. Have you ever been completely exhausted without doing anything? You lie down at night and suddenly your mind starts working. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I make the wrong decision? What will happen to my future? And similar kinds of things. And the strange part is, nothing is actually happening. But inside your head, yes, actually inside your head, you're living through 10 different futures at once. This is what makes overthinking so painful. Your mind keeps creating problems that haven't happened yet, and then makes you emotionally suffer as if they already have. I hope you noticed this many times. But here's something Bhagavad Gita can teach us about this. I'm starting this lesson from today onwards to teach our youth globally whatever I've learned, whatever I read. So, you're not meant to be obey every thought that appears in your mind. Krishna describes the mind as something that can become your friend, your enemy. Think about that. The same mind that can help you study, create, pray, work, and make wise decisions can also keep you awake at 2 a.m., replaying a conversation from 3 years ago. So the problem isn't that you have thoughts. The problem is that you have started treating every thought as truth. Your mind says, they are probably judging me, and you believe it. It says, you're gonna fail, and you believe it. It says, your life is falling behind, and you believe it. But yes, a thought is not automatically a fact. And this is where practice becomes important. That's why I say, there is a quote in Bhagavad Gita, Abhyas Yoga Yuktena Chetasana Gamila. The Gita doesn't present mastery of the mind as something that happens in the one magical moment. It speaks about repeatedly bringing the mind back when it wanders. That's the practice. Your mind wanders, you notice it, you fix it, and you bring it back. I hope you're getting my words. Again, and again, and again. So, the question is for you. So tonight, when your mind starts creating another imaginary disaster, don't fight it. Don't say, I must stop thinking. Instead, pause and ask, is there something I can actually do about this right off? Yeah, this right now? If yes, do that one thing. If no, don't spend the entire night trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist yet. Bring your attention back to what is actually in front of you. I mean, you're present. You breathe. Your work. It could be your work. It could be your breathe, your prayer, your family, your relationships, your studies, your next responsibility. Because your life is happening here. Yes, not inside every possible future your mind can imagine. Remember my words, and slowly something changes. You stop trying to control every thought. You start learning how to control where you give your attention. That is a much deeper kind of peace. You don't need a completely silent mind to live peacefully. Yes, you need a mind that you can return to. So the next time overthinking begins, remember my words. You are not every thought that passes through your mind. You are the one who can notice it. Who can notice it and choose where to go next. A restless mind doesn't need punishment. It needs practice. Practice. That's why everybody says practice. Jai Shri Krishna, Har Har Mahadev. I'll catch you in the next video.